Hi everybody, happy Thursday. If you're catching this on replay, by the way, just comment replay so I know that you had a chance to watch. So if we haven't met before, my name is Susie Leachy. I'm a certified health coach and I help women to naturally balance their hormones and boost their fertility. So you may have seen me posting the past couple of days some information about thyroid health and the connection between thyroid and fertility. And the reason for that is that the health of your thyroid really has a huge impact on so many different body systems, and it plays a huge role in fertility. And I don't think I've talked about it too much before and given it the attention it deserves. So I just wanted to get into it a little bit more today. So first of all, let's just get right into it. What is your thyroid? So your thyroid is a gland. It's a butterfly-shaped gland near the throat. And it's part of your body's endocrine system, which is basically your hormone system. And it plays a major role in your body's metabolism and the growth and development of the body. It also regulates many different body functions like digestion, muscle control, mood, brain development, and bone maintenance. And so thyroid in general, it's super important, and this is a very complex topic. We could probably spend days talking about it, but for now I'll just share the role of thyroid in the female reproductive system and why it's so important for fertility and really for your overall well-being. So, even if you're not worried about your fertility or your hormones are fine, the thyroid plays a major role in different body functions, and having a healthy thyroid is super important. So I would still encourage you to, hey Colby, that's my cat meowing. I would still encourage you to listen in and see. Okay, hi Colby, come on up. Here's my cat making an appearance in my video again. So I would just encourage you to keep listening even if you're not worried about hormones and fertility, because thyroid health is super important. So one thing I find super interesting, just kind of connecting thyroid and fertility here again, is that your ovaries actually have receptors for thyroid hormone. So thyroid hormones bind to the surface of the ovary and to your actual egg cells and help them grow and develop. And women with hypothyroidism, which is an underactive thyroid, sorry, my cat's hair is flying all over again. It finally warmed up and now she's super fluffy and she's shedding like crazy. See, say hi, Colby. Okay. Oh, she's clawing at my leg. I was gonna show you guys. This is my fluffy cat. Okay, so anyway, women with hypothyroidism, which means an underactive thyroid, have more anovulatory cycles, meaning that they don't ovulate during that menstrual cycle. So they don't release an egg that month. And because of this connection between thyroid function and the ovaries, low thyroid function can result in a number of different things, including a short luteal phase, which is the second half of your cycle after you ovulate. And if you're not sure what exactly that means and you want more information about the phases of the menstrual cycle, I did do a video all about the phases of the menstrual cycle that you can go ahead and check out. It's archived in my videos, and whether you're watching this in my group or on my Health Equilibrium by Susie Leachy page, and it's also on my YouTube channel, Susie Leachy, so you can definitely find it there if you want more information. But it can also prevent ovulation, like I mentioned. It can lead to, sorry, there's like cat hair in my mouth now. She sat on my lap and cat hairs everywhere. Okay, so it can also lead to early pregnancy loss. It can impair hormone production, and it can also increase prolactin levels, so prolactin is the hormone that your body produces to when you're lactating, hence prolactation, like when you're breastfeeding. But prolactin also tends to be high in women with PCOS, and prolactin can actually, it sort of inhibits the production of other hormones, because basically if your body is making a lot of prolactin, then it thinks that you're breastfeeding and you're busy taking care of, this other baby, and so it shuts down reproduction so that you have enough energy to devote to the current baby. That doesn't happen to all women. Some women are a little bit less sensitive to that sort of thing, but it can have that effect. So because low thyroid function can increase, sorry, I definitely have cat hair all over my face now. It's flying everywhere. I don't know if you probably can't see it all, but it's flying everywhere now that you sat on my lap. Okay, so low thyroid function can increase your prolactin levels, which can interfere with production of your other hormones. And during pregnancy, it's also important to have a healthy thyroid because low thyroid function actually, first of all, increases the risk for miscarriage, and it also affects the organ development in the growing baby. So super important that you have a healthy thyroid going into pregnancy and during pregnancy. Again, this cat hair, okay. And by the way, this isn't just for women because thyroid dysfunction in men can also lower sperm count and mobility. So it's important for both partners who are, especially when you're trying to conceive, again, like thyroid health is important just for overall health, but especially if you're trying to conceive, both partners really should make sure that they have a healthy thyroid and to get those tests done to make sure. So what are some signs that your thyroid function might be low? So some of the common signs are fatigue, weight gain or difficulty losing weight, cold hands and feet, dry skin, hair, and nails, and constipation. And again, these are some of the kind of more common classic symptoms, but there are other symptoms that aren't as commonly recognized as being associated with low thyroid function, but they actually are associated with an underactive thyroid. And those include things like high cholesterol, irregular menstrual cycles and fertility problems, like we've been talking about, muscle and joint pain, depression, gum disease, skin conditions like acne and eczema, memory problems, low libido, and low basal body temperature, which I did post about the other day, and that would be considered, something that is consistently under 97.5 degrees Fahrenheit. And your basal body temperature is your temperature when you first wake up in the morning before you even get out of bed. It's should be your kind of lowest temperature for the day. And that's in Fahrenheit, by the way. I don't know the equivalent in Celsius, but 97.5 degrees Fahrenheit is the number that you're looking for. And if you want more information, by the way, on taking your basal body temperature and tracking your cycle in that way, I do also have a video on cycle tracking, so you can definitely check that out if you want more information. And yes, Colby? She's meowing at me. Okay, so if you are trying to get pregnant or if you have any of those symptoms that I just mentioned, I do highly recommend getting a full thyroid panel done from your doctor. And it's just a simple blood test, but typically your doctor will only test TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. And what you want is not just TSH, but also the full panel. That includes T3, T4, free T3, free T4, reverse T3, and thyroid antibodies, which can tell you whether you potentially have an autoimmune condition that's causing your thyroid function to be low. So that's ideal, but if you can't get that done, you can only get TSH, which, by the way, TSH is part of just the normal blood work. If you go to the doctor and get a yearly physical, they'll probably just throw that in anyway. So if you can get the full panel, that's great, but if you can't for some reason, you can only get TSH. Then just keep in mind that even if your TSH comes back and it's in the quote unquote normal range and they tell you everything is fine, it might not be optimal. So first of all, lab ranges are notoriously very, very wide for TSH. And the reason for that is mainly because it includes the entire population, some of whom, many of whom have an underactive thyroid. So what they consider to be normal, might not actually be normal. And even if it's normal, it's probably, might not be optimal. So for fertility and pregnancy, you're looking for, in terms of TSH, a TSH of at least 2.5, preferably lower than 2.5. And what would be even better is if it's lower than 2, really going into pregnancy. That would be ideal. And by the way, this is not just a functional medicine number that I'm pulling out. It's actually a number based on a study done by a branch of the U.S. Institutes of Health. So you can find this on PubMed. It's not just, a number that some naturopathic doctor, functional medicine doctor pulled out because they felt like it was optimal. Like this was actually something that was studied and is recognized as being, the number to aim for fertility and healthy pregnancy. So again, under 2 is even better. And there are ways to naturally improve your thyroid function, especially if you have subclinical hypothyroidism, meaning that you're within the normal lab ranges and your doctor tells you, everything is okay, but you're experiencing some symptoms of low thyroid function, or like your TSH is a little bit elevated, maybe a little over 2.5, but not anything that's flagged as, severe hypothyroidism. And so there are natural ways to improve that. If you have the autoimmune type of thyroid disease, which is called Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which most cases of clinical hypothyroidism, meaning that your levels are in a range where your doctor says, like, yes, you're definitely hypothyroid, we need to give you replacement medication. Most of those cases, I think upwards of 80% are actually autoimmune. Like, they might not say that, but in the vast majority of cases, it is an autoimmune condition called Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And to be sure, though, if you got the full thyroid panel, your doctor would also be testing you for antibodies, which would, give you a more definitive answer as to whether it's an autoimmune issue. And so if you do have the autoimmune condition, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, or if you're clinically hypothyroid, meaning that your, your numbers are kind of really in a range where your doctor says, like, yes, you have hypothyroidism, then it's likely you'll need to take thyroid replacement medication, which I don't even really consider that a medication, because it's literally just replacing your thyroid hormone that your body's not able to produce, especially if you have the autoimmune condition where your body's actually attacking the thyroid. Like, you need to be replacing that. So, what else did I want to chat about? Well, Ashley in my group, so I'm live in my private Facebook group right now, Hormone Balancing, Fertility, and Beyond, but I'm also going to be posting this on my business page, Health Equilibrium by Susie Leachy, as well as on my YouTube channel. So just depending on where you're watching this. But Ashley in my private group asked me about thyroid hormones related to adrenal fatigue or exhaustion. So I did want to touch on this too before I wrap up for today. So this could probably be a whole other topic. So if you're really interested in it, I could get into this more on a future live, but for now I'll give a brief overview. So adrenal fatigue, let's just start there. That adrenal fatigue, that term is more of a colloquial term, but it can be a bit misleading. So some people like to refer to it as HPA axis dysregulation or hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis dysregulation, but same thing as adrenal fatigue. And basically what happens here is that your adrenal glands pump out stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, and when you're under chronic stress, you start to experience some dysregulation in your stress hormones, especially in your cortisol output. And typically what happens is that you start off with your cortisol too high, or at least too high at the times of day where you don't want it to be too high, like at night when you're trying to go to sleep. And then in an effort to protect itself and to conserve energy during what is being perceived by your body as a stressful time period, your body starts to slow down essentially, and it starts to produce less cortisol, and other things start to happen, like your blood pressure goes down, you start to get more tired and fatigued easily, you may experience disruptions in certain functions like reproduction, you might start to have, if you're a female, longer menstrual cycles, or you might lose your period altogether. You may experience disruptions in other bodily functions like digestion that tends to slow down. You might get a little constipated. Your immune function goes down, so you're getting, sick more easily. And, basically it's honestly a lot of the same kind of symptoms that are seen in hypothyroidism, because your system overall is kind of slowing down, your metabolism is slowing down. But at the same time, your thyroid really is slowing down in this case of adrenal fatigue or HPA axis dysregulation due to the chronic stress, because again, your body is trying to conserve energy so that it can properly address the stressor that's going on, which is viewed as the priority. So basically, if you're suffering from adrenal fatigue or HPA axis dysregulation, you're most likely experiencing some level of hypothyroidism, even if it's subclinical, meaning that, a doctor is not going to flag it as, bye Colby. Your doctor's not going to flag it as being, severe hypothyroidism, but it's, not in the optimal ranges. And you'll likely have some of the same symptoms, like I was saying. So the question becomes, if you have these symptoms and you feel like something is going on with adrenal fatigue or hypothyroidism, the question, it's almost like a chicken or the egg kind of thing. Like what came first? Was it that you experienced a major stressor and you suffered from adrenal fatigue and that caused your thyroid to slow down? Or did you start off with an underlying thyroid problem due to genetics or an autoimmune condition like Hashimoto's thyroiditis? You can definitely experience adrenal fatigue on top of a thyroid condition, but again, it's kind of like the chicken egg kind of thing. What came first, and that's how you kind of determine how to address it. So you kind of have to figure out if it's a genetic or an autoimmune thing. Sorry, I feel like there's still cat hair flying on my face. So you have to kind of determine whether it's a genetic or autoimmune thyroid issue, or if your thyroid is underactive due to some type of chronic or acute stressor in your life that's causing this kind of adrenal fatigue and your whole system to kind of slow down to protect itself, including your thyroid. So I think that's all I want to say on that for now, but if you have any other questions or want more information on ways to naturally boost your thyroid function, or you have more questions about how to know whether your thyroid is functioning correctly or optimally, just let me know. And I do also want to remind you guys that I offer a one-on-one coaching program specifically for women who are trying to conceive called Pathway to Pregnancy. And I also have a similar program called Pathway to Hormone Balance for women who are not trying to conceive currently, but again, similar step-by-step one-on-one coaching program with me. And because it's a one-on-one coaching program, you'll get tons of support from me, and I will walk you through step-by-step the tried and true process that has worked for me and many other women to get a fertile cycle and be able to conceive in the case of women who are trying to conceive, or relief from some of those nasty symptoms that arise when your hormones are all out of whack, if you're not trying to conceive. So if this sounds like something that you could benefit from, or someone who could really use this program, just shoot me a message. I'd be happy to give you more details, or we could hop on the phone together and chat about it and see if it might be a good fit, something that would be helpful for you. Also, if you would like my top 5 tips for boosting your fertility, you can head to my website. If you input your name and email address there on the homepage, you'll get access to that guide. And I have another freebie for you as well. It's a 5-day meal plan to help you regulate your cycle and get pregnant, so I can link to that in the comments. And if you're not watching this from my private Facebook group and you want to join it, it's called Hormone Balancing, Fertility, and Beyond, so you can request to join if you're not already a member there. And I'll link to that as well. What else? If you are interested in safer skincare and makeup products to reduce your exposure to toxins that can disrupt hormone balance, and you're overall trying to live a cleaner lifestyle and get rid of all those endocrine disruptors, and skincare and makeup is one area that you're struggling with to find good natural products, you can head over to my other private Facebook group called Safer Skincare and Makeup, Susie Leachy's Lyme Life, and see what I have to offer you there. And lastly, as I mentioned, all my videos are on both my business page, Health Equilibrium by Susie Leachy, as well as my YouTube channel, Susie Leachy, so you can always find them there. And yeah, definitely share the love and the knowledge with these videos. It always helps to share these with someone else who may be struggling in similar areas or who could benefit from this information, and it helps me reach other women and help other women, which is definitely my mission. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon.